All right, you guys, what is going on? This is your boy Town Biz. So I just got through watching Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Um, yeah, I mean, it's, Jake Paul, to a certain degree, he continues to get away with this stuff. Um, I was supposed to go to that fight too. I was supposed to go to that fight. I got credentialed, but I didn't have nobody to send there, and and that's just basically it. So, you know, with that being said, Julio Cesar Chavez to me he is a complete joke, and he is a shameful figure. All I can say is I hope he enjoys the money he got for this fight, both checks, if you catch my drift. And I laugh at the fact that Jake Paul says he's the king of this stuff. The king of what? I mean, dude, what are you the? I mean, like, bro, what are you the king of? I mean, for the first like 8 rounds, I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez did virtually nothing. He just stood there. And the funny thing is, when he actually started to throw punches, he was effective. He was swinging way out of range. But at the end of the day, by me covering boxing, I have to do this. But I laugh at the fact that Jake Paul said that Zerto Ramirez looked slow. I'm gonna tell you right now, Jake Paul has no chance versus Zerto Ramirez whatsoever. Has no chance. He has no shot. He would get beat the fuck up, and somebody got to say it. Um, Junior, to me, was a couple of shots away from doing some serious damage to Jake Paul. Now, I don't know who it was like doing the telecast, but even he was kind of like on the lines that I was, along the lines where he was just saying technically he's only fought like 3 actual boxers. He's fought, um, past their prime MMA fighters, a basketball player that had no type of boxing experience whatsoever. So this continues to go on with Jake Paul, and he's saying he's the king of boxing. Um, yeah, and the sad part about it is probably Jake Paul is going to get ranked. Um, as far as him ever being taken as a serious fighter, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, he has improved as a fighter. He has improved as a fighter. I could say that much, but do I think he has a shot against, more of the elite fighters? Julio Cesar Chavez always was a guy to me. He always was a guy that I never thought took boxing seriously. I think he just fought for the sake of his name. He never came across as a guy that wanted to be in boxing. He had a famous father. His father was a very famous, popular Mexican boxer. So he felt like he had to continue the tradition and, the family legacy. And he had to follow in his father's footsteps. But the problem is he didn't take uh, the path his father went down. Now I'm gonna say this, and this is just real talk. I know a lot of people gonna get mad at me. I know a lot of, in particularly Mexicans, gonna get mad at me like I give a fuck. But Julio Cesar Chavez was a good fighter, but the fact that they try to put him in there like a top 10 all-time great, look at his resume. Yes, he had over 100 fights, but look at his resume. He fought a shitload of dudes that actually had 9 to 5s that wasn't even really actual boxers full time. And that's just factual. I know people gonna get mad. They gonna call me a hater. I ain't even worried about that. At the end of the day, um, He had that fight that basically Richard Steele stole from Meldrick Taylor. I saw that fight when it first happened. He lost to Frankie Randall. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. Most of the guys he fought were I mean, he fought double the amount of regular guys that Triple G fought. And it just got to be said. And I'm saying it. Oh, listen. Anybody that think, I remember I did a video breaking down that fight, and some dude said, "Well, I understand why it was a no." The Pernell Whitaker fight in no way, shape, or form was a draw. Everybody knows that Pernell Whitaker won that fight. Julio Cesar Chavez know it. The Mexicans know it. The people that called the fight know it. Everybody that saw that fight knew that Pernell Whitaker got screwed. We will leave that alone. I mean, we'll leave that alone. I mean, he almost 40 years old. No need to be bothered with it now. I mean, he almost 40 years, and he says he wants to continue to fight. Like I said, I never saw anybody that just basically stood still. And then let's talk about Jake Paul. I wonder how he would feel about, doing business with Turkey Al-Sheikh, because we know Jake Paul was doing a lot of moving, but that's why it's called boxing. Jake Paul never stood still. He was doing a lot of moving. Now, don't get me wrong. He's not Muhammad Ali or nobody like that, but he didn't stand still and trade with Julio Cesar Chavez, which that would have been a disaster for him. But that's what I'm saying. That running stuff is only applied to black fighters. He never once stood in the middle of the ring and tried to trade. And that's why he doesn't like Turkey. Where does he go? I have no idea. He 28. At the end of the day, he's been able to get away with this for the past 5 years. And the funny thing is, he does these post-fight interviews where he talked like he's beat world beaters. I mean, there's options out there for him, but I'm saying it'll be what he usually does. He'll fight another. He talking about he won't Badu Jack. Badu Jack, I think, is in his 40s. Zerto Ramirez is up there in age too. Of course he was in it for the check. Nah, he ain't gonna get I mean, I wouldn't do it anyway because I'm not Mexican. I'm black. So I have no say in the matter. I have no horse in the race. I know what my ethnic background is. You would never see me coming out wearing no Mexican colors. That's just how I roll because I don't pander like that. And it's no reason for me to compromise myself like that. But Julio Cesar Chavez, I hope he enjoys the money. Hope he enjoys the money. Let's hope he doesn't lose. Let's just hope he doesn't get this check stolen, because from what I heard, he almost got his check stolen from the Canelo fight. So let's just hope he, takes care of his money, because I think anybody would common sense know what we just witnessed and what we saw for the first 8 rounds. I mean, I don't have to say it. I mean, if you understand boxing, you should already know where I'm going with this. And I think anybody that understands boxing, and that's why the dude that was calling the fight wasn't impressed. What is there to be impressed about with that performance? and you still couldn't get the dude out of there. No, like I said, you made yourself be a little more viable and sellable as a fighter, but you still, to a certain degree, don't look polished. You still look like a guy that just started fighting 5 years ago. You don't look that polished. Why can't we just tell the truth about this guy? At the end of the day, I'm not on nobody's payroll, so I don't have to watch what I say concerning this dude. We know what's going on. Everybody know what's going on with this guy. This is almost like watching actual Rocky right before your eyes. And we all know that Rocky had a script and was a fictional character. And this is what it almost looked like. We're watching a new version of Rocky, except it's a live version. It's almost like we're watching a reality show every time this dude fights. And we all know, even though reality shows aren't supposed to be reality shows, but we all know that reality shows are scripted and they have a plot to them. They have a premise to them. I mean, let's not be naive. More like the Great White Nope. I'm trying to figure out what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You were a child actor. You were on Disney, you and your brother. And you hit it big doing the social media thing. You hit it big on YouTube. Good for you. Well, let's not make it look like you didn't know where your, next meal was coming from. Let's not make it look like you lived in the projects and stuff and the water was off and all that kind of stuff, and you didn't have PG&E and all that kind of stuff, but you came from a 2-parent home and both of your parents had jobs. So knock it off, dude. You didn't live in the projects. You lived in a decent area in Cleveland at that. So cut the shit. Okay? For real. Stop it. I'm trying to think, how old is Badu Jack? Badu Jack is pretty up there in age. Why? He said Badu Jack, he said Gilberto Ramirez, somebody else. I'm trying to think. I mean, he said Anthony Joshua. He said Anthony Joshua. Listen. We know damn well he not gonna get in the ring with Anthony Joshua. So I don't even know why he brought that up. He know damn well he not gonna get in the ring with Anthony Joshua, because the version of Anthony Joshua that we saw versus Daniel Dubois still will take Jake Paul apart in probably 2 rounds. Once he hit Jake Paul will be lucky that his head will still be attached to him. So, I like the fact that he was, calling those dudes out, that he brought up Anthony Joshua's name, but we know he don't want to fight no Anthony Joshua. Come on, man. Do I think these fights are rigged? Listen. Okay. How can I say this? Okay, one of the hottest movies that came out this year was Sinners, right? It was written by Ryan Coogler, directed by Ryan Coogler, produced by him. Um, didn't that movie have a script and a screenplay? You can't film a movie without a script and a screenplay and lines. I mean, you have to make it look good. I mean, you gotta make it look good. My thing is, why don't Jake Paul fight somebody like Arthur Better Beeb or Bibble? Why would you want to fight Tank? That don't even make sense. Why would you want to fight Tank? Why would you want to fight a 135 pounder who about 5'5"? Why don't you fight Bibble or Better Beeb, somebody like that would give you an actual fight? But I laughed at the fact that he brought up Anthony Joshua. He has no chance versus any version of Anthony Joshua, and he need to just cut it. He need to stop because he's making a fool of himself. We all know he's not gonna get in the. We all know he's not gonna get in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Okay. Yeah. Well, that whole series between the Cavaliers and the Warriors, we all know what was up with that. But I'll leave that alone. I already done spoke on that quite a bit of times. He's not gonna get in the ring with Usyk. I don't even think Usyk would even entertain. I think he cared too much about his legacy to even entertain. I think it would take some super money, but I mean, he could go fight Francis Ngannou. I mean, Francis Ngannou was an MMA fighter. He might be a little too young for him for him to fight to get a fight with, you know. So, I mean, why not? Well, they said that this was the highest gate at the Honda. This was the highest gate they had at the Honda Center. But they tell you anything, they'll tell you anything. I don't always believe what these people say because I didn't covered X amount of fights, and I know that sometimes they just be putting stuff out there without it being factual. I'll probably be covering another fight probably sometime next month, probably at the end of the month. I do this routinely. I am a credentialed uh, boxing media member for the most part. So I was supposed to go to this. I was supposed to go to this fight. I didn't have nobody to send there, so I told him I wasn't coming. So, whatever. I was gonna bring that up. I'm gonna hit 7-8 probably like tomorrow, and we gonna see can we three-way Wilder and see would Wilder be interested in that fight. But Jake Paul, I don't think Jake Paul would ever take that fight um because if Jake Paul get hit one time, he literally might have brain damage. Wilder still can crack. So I mean, it's a sellable fight. I mean, that would help Jake Paul's stature by far. But then the problem is with Jake Paul got to be in a fight where it's like this is the best scenario. Um, this is the best scenario I could use to describe what Jake Paul is doing. Okay, so y'all got to remember I'm a little bit older than some of y'all. So, I'm 50. So, I'm a big fan of Queen Latifah. Okay. I'm a big fan of Queen Latifah. Um, I used to, I always wanted to meet Queen Latifah. Came close, and I'll leave it at that. Came close. Um, and Queen Latifah describes her movie contracts. Queen Latifah has it in her movies and her contract that her character cannot die. So I'm gonna switch over to the late great, Fred Williamson, a black exploitation actor from Black Caesar and quite a bit of other movies. Boss Nigga, y'all could watch that on. They changed it to Boss, but it's really called Boss Nigger. You can watch it on Tubi. They changed it to Boss, but it's the original title is called Boss Nigger. So, he said, as part of his contract, whatever movie he did, he basically had it put in his contract. Now, watch this, y'all. Watch this. Watch this. This. I hope this don't fly over people's head, but watch this. You can use this quote, because I know I got a lot of people that do content. But Fred Williamson put it in his contract that he always gets the girl. I think he also put he doesn't die in any of his movies, and he wins all his fights. I'll just drop the mic. That was put in his contract. He gets the girl, even though Fred Williamson was a notorious swirler. But hey, to each his own. To each his own. To each his own. If that's what he into, that's what he into. He likes swimming in the milk. Now, I mean, I'm talking about he was a notorious milk swimmer. I'm talking about for real. I'm talking about Berkeley Farms swimming in it. If you don't know what Berkeley Farms is, you got to be from the Bay Area, but So he was a notorious milk swimmer, but nevertheless, he put that in his contract. That was mandatory. Brian Jr., I'm serious. I'm serious about Fred Wilson. Look it up. He did several interviews saying it. I don't know what the contents of the Rock's contract is, but I know Queen Latifah got it in her contracts. Any movie that she starred in, her character does not die. And Fred Williamson had it in his contract that he always get the girl in the end. He win all his fights. and he don't die at the end. I mean, so I kind of broke that down. Most Brian Jr. Tania, y'all should you should already know what I'm trying to say. This does I mean shit. I'll look up the stipulations of the Rock's contract, but yeah, I suspect that seems to be going on with Jake Paul. I'm really starting to suspect that's what's going, because I'm like, damn, this shit just look like it just I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's worse than some of them storylines at the WWE. I mean, at least the ones in the mid '90s was a little bit interesting with what was they called, Degeneration X, and in the early years of the Rock. They just started to get corny, like in the late 2000s and stuff. When Roman Reigns came, it started to get a little bit corny and stuff. But yeah, they used to have some funny like storylines, like with Ron Simmons. Damn. And that's where Big John got that from, I think, from Ron Simmons, when he'd be like, damn. And where they had some good storylines, they had some terrible ones. Like in the 80s, they was just flat out racist. Vince McMahon was one racist son of a bitch. Yeah. Yeah, like the Dudley Boys and yeah, okay. That, well, like I said, and I did like the Godfather. I'm not even gonna lie. I did like the Godfather, who was, I think, Papa Shango at first. Now, um, I'll tell you one character I didn't like is when Vince McMahon came with Hakeem, the African Dream, where he had the dude that was known as the one man gang, being where he was supposed to be from Africa. oh, 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 Booker T, the spinner. Shout out to Booker T. But that's and you know what? What's so funny? There is a connection when you think about this. In theory, Jake Paul's brother is in the WWE. Boom. So I mean, enough said. Shout out, like I said, shout out to Booker T. Shout out to Booker T. We coming for you, nigga. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. Too bad he didn't know Hulk Hogan really did like to call black people. Too bad. I mean, Hulk Hogan really did like to call. Yeah, Hulk Hogan really did. But I don't know how much longer we gonna have to bear this Jake Paul stuff. The thing is with me, if Jake Paul just like actually, I mean that you seen what happened when he had a actual fight, he lost. You know, when he had an actual fight with Tommy Fury, he lost. I think Jake Paul would get more respect if he actually just fought. Just I listen, if he went bum bashing, I would be okay. If he went bum bashing. I'm gonna tell you something else that could be in the cards, and y'all heard it here first. And this is real talk. So if anybody else, do a video in regards to this, don't be surprised if Aaron the Plumber Jake Paul fight get discussed in the near future. Because Aaron the Plumber is about to have a professional fight. So, I do like his campaign about, put down the weapons and just fight and square up. That's a lost art. But so if you hear somebody talking about a Jake Paul, Aaron the Plumber fight somewhere down the line, you heard it here first. No, I mess with Aaron the Plumber because Aaron the Plumber had been putting out this campaign about, hey man, I don't need no guns or none of that. Say, I forgot where Aaron the Plumber from. I think he either from Sacramento or Stockton. He from one of them areas, but yeah, I like that campaign where he basically been like, hey man, don't pick up no gun, just duke it out. That's old school. I used to come from that era. Like as I entered high school, when I started going to Fremont High, that throwing hand stuff was coming to an end. People was people wasn't duking it out. People was grabbing people was grabbing gats. And I can tell you right now, if you beat somebody's ass, um, the rematch was gonna be totally different. The rematch was gonna be with bullets instead of fist. So I'm just saying. Yeah, I went to Fremont. I went to Fremont. Sure did. Sure did. I went to Fremont and then I got my good enough diploma in 90 91, 92 from East Bay Conservation Corps, as Chris Rock would say, my good enough diploma. So yeah, but yeah, I went to Fremont. I wanted to go to Oakland High, but based off the area I was in at the time, they was claiming that I was out of their district. But what I didn't understand, Oakland High had people from West Oakland going there. So I whatever. When most people should have been going to either McClymonds or Tech. Yeah, my brother graduated from my brother graduated from Oakland High. He went to Tech first, and then he went to Oakland High. He graduated from Oakland High, and my father he went to McClymonds, and my mother went to Castlemont. I mean, of course, I've been to Richmond. I mean, of course, I used to go to Hill like back in the day. Back in the day when I lived in West Oakland, I used to catch the 72 bus to Hilltop Mall, and Hilltop Mall is completely gone. Um, you know, yeah, I used to go to Richmond all the time. So I was very familiar with Hilltop Mall. I used to go get my little cheap jewelry from there. Oh, Berkeley High. Oh yeah, shout out to Berkeley High. I used to go to Berkeley High on every once in a while because Berkeley High had all the fine women, so everybody used to try to go to Berkeley High and like try to see could they meet them a new girlfriend at Berkeley High. Then Berkeley on Saturday used to be lit. Like everybody used to go to Berkeley like on Saturdays, and go to the arcades. They used to go to Leopold's Records. What's that piece of place called? Fat Slice and Blondie's. So Berkeley used to be like the hangout spot, and they used to have like a little underground arcade that everybody used to hang out at. They had another one called the Silver Bowl, but everybody used to go to the underground. Oh yeah, I'm real. I am real bona fide Bay Area. Yep. So yeah, yeah, back in the day. So, but yeah, when I say I'm Bay Area born and bred, I can tell you everything you need to know about any city from Oakland to um Oakland to pretty much Vacaville, and then going the other way, San Jose, and then going the other direction, Antioch, Pittsburgh. So yeah, I've been all over this piece. Oh, Keith the Sneak. Keith the Sneak still around, but Keith the Sneak got shot. Keith the Sneak can't even walk no more. Um, he still be yeah, I mean, he still be around and stuff. He's still rapping, he's still putting out music and stuff, but Keith the Sneak can't even walk. Uh he got shot like somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, he got shot somewhere in Richmond and he like paralyzed stuff, but he still like, man, he got shot in his face. He got shot like in his spine. He paralyzed. I'm talking about like he oh, the oak tree. Oh, in downtown Oakland. Yeah, I used to go there too. Yeah, it used to be a Wendy's over there. Used to be look, I used to go to all them places. Used to go all them places. And by the way, the sports page is still open. And I think Apartment C is still open too, but the sports page is still open. So, I didn't even know he was fighting. I didn't even know he was fighting the case. I did not. I did not know he. I did not know he was fighting the case. But yeah, Keith the Sneak got. Yeah, did him bad. Did him bad. Yeah, did him. They did him bad. My man can't even walk anymore. I actually like kind of know the Sneak a little bit too. Me and him had a mutual friend and stuff, so I knew him and stuff, But he was real tight with my sisters because they went to Fremont. They went to Fremont together. Hey, you know what? You know what, A? I I gotta tell you something, did I'm a in this street. I suppose it had a meeting with Mr. Fab because me and him was talking about putting out a project, but like I it's not ready yet. And Mr. Fab, one of them type of dudes, he before he, do stuff with you, he wanted to be already laid out. He wants you to have a direction. He don't like so, I got his number when it's ready. I'm gonna present it to him. I met him at Amari Jones fight in downtown Oakland. Oh, by the way, before I go, shout out to Amari Jones. I'm gonna do a quick video about that. Golden Boy signed him. But anyway, you guys, we will continue this discussion later on. Got to do some other stuff, but appreciate you guys.